Hey folks, thanks for watching. My name's Roger. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I'm closing in on 55 years of life on this spinning rock we call home. Unfortunately, we don't know how long we're going to be here, or for that matter, what's going to be thrown in our direction that we have to deal with on a daily basis. I've had a rich, healthy life, and I've had a life that some people call crazy and will never experience. And that's what makes life interesting. We all have our own road to travel, and you never know what road other people are going to be traveling on when you have the opportunity to cross paths. I've served in the military. I've been shot at, stabbed, experienced home invasions, loved with all of my heart. I've had love taken away without notice. I've had several successful businesses. I've lost everything I've had several times. Helped friends, had friends help me. I've helped complete strangers. I've saved 6 lives, on and on and on. And through it all, with hindsight and the ability of reflection, it all boils down to a couple of cliches. You get out of life what you put into it, and you reap what you sow. Basically, in a nutshell, life should be based on doing that which is right and just. Since childhood, I've always had a personal relationship with Jesus. I call him JC. When I was baptized, it was the first major decision that I'd make in my life. Me and another friend had the same feeling at the same time, and when the preacher asked if anybody would like to accept JC into their hearts, my friend and I stood up and made our way to the altar. And my family sat there in shock, in a good way, as well as my friend's family. That day, I accepted JC into my heart, and I've never looked back nor regretted that decision. Now, with that being said, I've not always been the perfect Christian, and nor will I ever be. I've had my faults, my blunders, my bad decisions. I've strayed off course and the like, but I've always been able to talk to JC about the things I've done wrong, and through his grace, I've made it through an awesome, action-packed life with a lot of great memories. And through all my travels, I've always had the heart to want to help people. Wherever I could, if I was on a path with somebody in need, I tried to help as much as I could. I'll make other videos about crazy stories of my life, but for the purposes of this video, I'll take you back to when I owned a restaurant with my parents. It was in a good location, but at night it was a little shady. There were a lot of many homeless people around. They'd be around. We'd always have leftover food, and that I could have used for the next day, but I'd feed as many as I could with what I had. And one day everybody was gone. It was late at night, and a man was waiting. He was peering inside after close. I'd never seen this guy before. Most of the people you knew, you've seen him on a daily basis, but this guy gave me a little bit of a nervous feeling. Having served in the military, I wasn't scared, but I was cautiously optimistic. He didn't want food. He wanted money. And I told him, I said, man, I can't give you any money, but I'll take you to where you can get something to eat, since I didn't have any food left over. So I took him to a local diner where I told him, get anything you want to eat, get whatever you want. We ordered up some burgers, some fries, some shakes, and an apple pie, and we sat there for over 3 hours telling stories, laughing, and suddenly the old man looked up and he was crying. And I asked him, I was like, man, what's wrong? And he replied, no one's ever taken time to help me, and here we're clowning around and you're not pitying me or shaming me. And it was at this moment, and I couldn't believe it took me this long in life, and it was the first time that I ever shared and ministered the love of JC. And I told him my story about how JC has always been in my heart, and even when I know I wasn't always pleasing him, I always tried to do what was right and helping people. And the old man asked me, how can I have that? And I paused for a moment because I didn't want to screw this moment up. I was like, first, you got to want it. And then second, you got to actually invite JC into your heart. And he asked me if I'd help. Without hesitation, I took the man's hand, and we got down on our knees right there in the restaurant next to the booth, and I asked JC to come to his heart and forgive him of his sins and guide him to a believer's path. The restaurant was silent, and as we stood up from across the room, I heard several loud amens, amen. And we finished our meal for a while. We sat there in silence, and he looked up at me. He eventually made eye contact, and tears streaming down from his face, and he said, you saved my life tonight. And I just looked at him and I said, no, sir. I said, you saved your life tonight. I just showed you how. And it was at that moment, I had a really reflective ride home. It was one of the most reflective points of my life. And I'll never forget that moment in time. I've always been the person to give spare change or whatever I had, around people asking for money on the streets. We've all seen them on the off-ramps, the highways. Many people look the other way. Some people yell hatred towards them. But I always gave, and I was, people ask me, well, why? And I'm like, because without God's grace, that could be me. So the other day, and I was in Kroger, and soups were on sale for 70 cents a can. So I bought like 3 cases of them, and I keep them in my car for anyone that's in need. Give them a couple of cans of soup. And I have an awesome relationship with JC, and I constantly pray every day for forgiveness, guidance, and thank Him for all I have in my life. And as I was going to work, I take the same highway and get off the same ramp every day. And as I was getting off the highway, I've been talking with JC, and I asked him to give me a sign as to where he wanted me in life. As I exited the ramp, my gut, JC, told me to get a couple of cans of soup ready. And I had them on the floorboard between the seats, so I grabbed a couple of cans, and at the end of the ramp, there was a man asking for change. As I approached him, I rolled down the window, and he started the conversation by saying, "I've been waiting for you." And this threw me off a little bit because there wasn't much time to talk. The light was turning green. And as he was walking away, the man turned around and winked and nodded at me and said, "God knows what you've done today." And I was like, wow. After that encounter, I had a really reflective ride to work, and all I could think about was what he had said to me. And the next trip to Kroger, I bought a lot of things like tuna fish, crackers, snacks, breakfast bars, some chocolate milk, and I started making what I call MREs. They're meals ready to eat. Anybody in the military knows what I'm talking about. These MREs, they got breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in them, water in them. It's enough food for a day, and I started handing these out instead of money. I knew this was what I was supposed to do. When I was stationed in Florida, I had an Air Force sergeant once tell me that I had a huge heart. I was helping somebody. I was in law enforcement. I was helping somebody one day and helped them get back up on their feet. And he was like, "Man, you're going to do something big to help the homeless one day." And I kind of laughed and shrugged it off and never thought about it until I met that man on the off-ramp. And I've started this endeavor on my own, still while working. And if I only make a difference to 3, 4, 5 people a week, it's well worth it. But I hope to grow it and help as many people as I can. So if y'all could pass this on, share it, like it, smash all the bells or whatever we're supposed to do, it'd be greatly appreciated. And I'd also like to, challenge everyone that's watching this video. Keep some cans of soup or non-perishable food in your car so you can help someone in need. Most of these people are down on their luck and defeated and with no sense of hope. And sometimes hope can change a person's life forever. And we all need and deserve hope. Without hope, we're all defeated. Thanks for watching, and feel free to comment and share any of your stories below in the comment section. And may God watch over you guys and love you guys always. Thank you.